So in this slide, you can see a Java demo program which is basically handling the exception. For the sake of better understanding, I am going to use the same division function that I have used before. As I have shown earlier in this slide, that if this division function is not handled for exception, if you keep the exceptions unhandled, then if 0 is passed in this division function as a denominator, then your program will crash with a default error message for divide by 0. So that we have found. But now if you handle it properly with a try catch, your program flow will be different. So what will happen? Let us see this example. So here actually I have created a class called some handle exception, and then inside that class I have written this divide by two numbers, and it has, just like before, it is taking the numerator and denominator as a parameter. Now what different I have done compared to the previous code that I have just shown, I have kept the entire division logic or the code to divide two numbers, like this line of code, inside this try block. So what will happen whenever you are enclosing it in a try block, although exception occurs here, the program won't crash immediately like before. So what it will do is, it will basically pass this exception to the catch block below, which is appearing over here. So whenever the exception occurs, what this try block does, it actually get the exception over here like this, and then possibly wrap it with some kind of a header and some other type of information like why the exception occur, which line number the exception occur. With all these things, it wrap it up the exception in the form of an exception object. As soon as you got the 0 as denominator, the program got denominator as 0, then and there an exception object is created with all the related information related to the exception, and packed it in the form of an exception object, and just throw it to the catch block. And in the catch block, and that is the meaning of the catch block, catch basically catch this exception object that have been just created after this denominator is 0. So catch basically catch this exception, and in the form of this exception object, and then handle it. Now in the simplest case, what I have done here, I just printed a nice customized message so that the user can easily understand where the error actually happened and what is the error. So what I have written is that, well, you have passed 0 for the denominator, please check the function call. So here the developer can write own custom message to pinpoint the actual cause of the error, or also you can do some other things when the exception occurs. For example, let's say you want your code to automatically convert this 0 to 1. That type of logic you can implement inside catch. So what happens is, instead of crashing, the program actually recovered because of the existence of this catch block. So if you handle the exception, you are giving your program an opportunity to recover from the error, and you can do that using this try and catch block.